my dear friends, and welcome back to another Star Wars news update. In today's video, we're going to be talking about The Mandalorian Season 3 and the Andor series, so no more jibber jabber, let's get straight into it. So we begin with Mando, as Brendan Wayne, Din Djarin's body double, celebrated the release of the Season 3 teaser trailer by showcasing the journey he's come on so far, along with an epic video reel of his favourite Mandalorian scenes. On Instagram he wrote, creating Mando's complexities and nuances from episode 1, and then continuing to evolve them every episode after. He then teases that Season 3 is going to be an unreal journey. I can't wait for everyone to see the continuation of storytelling from the first two seasons. So a wonderful hint here of what kind of story Season 3 is going to be, and very much in line with Pedro Pascal and Katee Sackhoff's recent comments. The scale of this season, as we saw in the celebration footage, the teaser trailer, and what the creatives and actors have said, is much more like a big screen release, and overall this season's going to be a much more climactic one. And I think with Andor coming up and just generally, everything from here on out is going to be of significantly higher quality than the shows and seasons that came before, and this applies very much to The Mandalorian Season 3. We're truly entering a new exciting era for Star Wars TV storytelling, one that is of much more epic proportion. Now, staying on the subject of The Mandalorian, Disney released a few high-resolution images of the Season 3 teaser trailer, and they revealed something which very few people caught. In this shot with Din and the other Mandalorians, Bo-Katan is walking behind them on the bottom right-hand side. We don't know who they're facing up against, but apparently this cave is the new location of the tribe by the time of Season 3, and this means that the meeting of the Armor and Bo-Katan is going to happen a lot sooner than we expected, the clash between the tribe and the Night Owls. Whether there's going to be an actual clash, who knows, but there is a divide in ideology and opinion. And if this cave is the new location of the Covert, then they left the Glavis Ring world that we saw in the Book of Boba Fett, and this new location is much more reminiscent of the Covert on Nevarro from Season 1, the one they were forced to flee from. So a really interesting tidbit. Now before we move on guys, there is another really interesting thing about this frame. These Mandalorians are actually an example of Lucasfilm using toys to base their on-screen characters on, because 2 years ago LEGO released a Mandalorian battle pack, and that included 4 Mandalorian minifigures, ones who remarkably resemble the colourful ones from this shot. Now it's physically impossible that Favreau created these characters at the time, this is 2 years ago, but it's very likely they designed the Season 3 Mandalorians, the new Mandalorians, based on LEGO sets, maybe some cosplayers, but in either case, the new Mandos from the Season 3 teaser look a lot like these ones from the LEGO set. I remember buying this one at the time on Amazon. I loved the orange guy in particular, but all of the coloration was awesome too, and now that we're getting literally dozens of Mandalorians in Season 3, there are going to be so many other toys coming out after it, toys based on colourful Mandos, but there is an argument to be made that the LEGO set was based on unused concept art from Season 1, so in this way it is possible that Favreau conceived of these designs, these colourful Mandos, as early as 2018 or 19. And so now my dear friends, let's talk about the Andor series. The runtimes of Andor's first 4 episodes just surfaced online less than a week before the series premiere. The episode runtimes come courtesy of a screenshot posted to the Star Wars Leaks Reddit page, and it shows the Disney Plus screener platform used by critics to review films and TV shows ahead of their public release date, and according to the screenshot, Andor Episode 1 is 39 minutes long, Episode 2 is 35 minutes, Episode 3 is 40 minutes, and Episode 4 is a whopping 47 minutes. And considering the first season is 12 episodes, that is a lot of Andor we're getting this year. Now we don't know if these runtimes are going to be consistent throughout all 12 episodes, but the first 4 position Andor's average episode length as broadly in line with previous Disney Plus live-action Star Wars shows like The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, and Kenobi. Over the last 24 hours for the Andor series, we've had some new TV spots, everyone's going crazy about what they're calling the lightsaber ship, they released a Rogue One recap, and generally speaking, hype for the Andor series is at an all-time high. And adding to this were the early reactions to the show. A few very lucky social media influencers, reviewers, and critics got early access to the first 4 episodes. Now the social media embargo was recently lifted, so they've been sharing their thoughts on the show online, and we're going to dive into some of them. Now, with a few exceptions, they pretty much all said the same thing. The idea that it's a slow burn, that the 3rd episode is the best of the first 4, and that it's dark, gritty, and the other keywords we've heard over and over again. So let's dive into this. This first reviewer says, Andor feels like Star Wars in the best ways, and like something completely different in the best ways too. It's rare for such a well-known franchise to manage something that feels brand new, but I think this show pulls it off. The next one says, I've seen the first 3 episodes of Andor, and I say this with the utmost conviction. This is going to be the show that gets me back into Star Wars. Andor introduces new memorable characters, plus an intriguing arc for Andor, and it actually has something to say. Episode 3 is spectacular. Next up, Andor is unlike any Star Wars story that we've ever seen before. Diego Luna is at the center of a stunning and dangerous world in turmoil. It's gritty, mature, and the most intelligent and well-informed story we've had to date. Tony Gilroy is a genius. So overwhelmingly positive again. Andor is the biggest departure from the Star Wars formula yet, and it thrives for it. It's a dark and mature story of the start of the rebellion, one that might not appeal to all fans. The scope and practical visuals are immense, perhaps the best looking Disney Plus original yet. So overall, many of these people have spotlighted Andor's practical effects, and apparently while the story is slow to start, it builds up so much in the 3rd episode. They talk about the world building, they praise the show's visual direction, and most of all, the fact that it's created a lived-in universe that manages to feel alien but convincing in equal measure. Some fans went on to say it's the best Disney Plus series yet, while others spotlight the plot and writing, with a few people saying it feels more like a dark political spy thriller, one you'd find on HBO Max, than a Disney Plus Star Wars show. And they all talk about this hidden message behind it, a very intentional message, one that's political, which some viewers think some Star Wars fans are not going to take very well. Another common theme is that it's the most grounded Star Wars you'll get. This is something Diego Luna even said. It deals with everyday people. There's no Jedi around, no one to help the little guy, and so they have to work things out for themselves. It's a very dark period of the galaxy. While Andor will feature the return of several Star Wars characters we know, like Mon Mothma, Saw Gerrera, Tony promises no over-the-top cameos and no fan service. I spoke about this yesterday. The filmmaker stated that the characters are never included as fan service. He said, quote, "It's never cynical. It's always meant to be there. Everything is so deliberate in this series. It knows what it's getting at, and it gets there." As I say, there were very few negative reviews. The only so-called negative comments were about the first 2 episodes. Apparently they're very slow, and some reviewers were wondering why they were watching it, but the payoff comes in episode 3, and by the time it ends, you're hooked on the series. That's the consensus, and probably why Disney decided to do a 3-episode premiere. We're just 3.5 days away now, guys. I'm so excited. As always, I will be doing my full review of the first 3 episodes. We'll break it all down, and I'll give you my verdict, but so far it's sounding really good. And the great thing is when the season ends, and I'm sure they're going to do an epic cliffhanger, we can rest assured knowing there is a 2nd season coming. Despite the fact that Andor is yet to premiere, it didn't stop the creative team working on season 2. Gilroy confirmed that production on the next batch of episodes, the next 12, is going to begin filming here in the UK before the end of the year. So a lot to look forward to. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. How are you feeling about the Andor series with just a few days to go? Share your thoughts below. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. May the Force be with you always. I'm Star Wars Meg. Have a good one.